Hi, 2D animators. Welcome to part 5. Before we move on to creating our limbs, we are actually going to do a little bit of organization, convert some of our layers into symbols, and talk a little bit about layer hierarchy. Um, the way you want to think about it is if you have something like your head, for instance, an object, and something's attached to it and moves with it, you want to create a layer, a composition there where multiple layers move together. For instance, if I move my head from left to right, my hair will also want to move left to right. And so it's important that these things are housed within each other. That way I'm not having to animate every single part every time. I'm only needing to animate the singular parts when I want to. And so we're going to work a little bit on nesting. What I recommend before you start this video is that you have this much done. You have this much of your character finalized. If everything's not perfect, that's okay. We can always go within our symbols and edit them, continue to edit them and refine them. So if things aren't perfect, don't worry. We can always step back, but it is important that we have these layers finished before we move forward. And I want you to follow with me pretty directly on how I'm organizing and structuring my layers. Okay, so we're going to actually start with the hardest part first, which is the head, the most complex, because our head is our main key component to our character, right? That's where dialogue is going to happen. That's where a lot of our visual inflection is going to happen. All of those things are going to happen within inside of our head. So it's our primary component. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock that layer. I'm gonna make sure that all of my other layers are locked. Because when I click and drag over, I don't want to be selecting anything but what's within this layer. And if I had, say, my hair unlocked, it will select both. So I'm gonna lock that, make sure my head's unlocked, click and drag over. And then I'm gonna press Control on Mac, Command, I believe, on PC, and click and I'm going to say convert to symbol. The hotkey for this is F8. So if you want to use F8, you can. Convert to symbol. I'm going to make sure this says graphic symbol. And I'm going to name this composition. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Press OK. Now I have a symbol here denoted by this blue box. I no longer have those crawling ants or those little dots, right? I have a blue box. So now we have a symbol. Now I'm going to click within that symbol and I'm now inside my composition and I want to do this one more time. So I'm going to click and drag, making sure everything is selected. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to say convert to symbol. I'm going to call this head. All right. And so I'm going to click inside my head. So you can see where I'm at. I have my scene, my composition, and I'm inside my head here. Let me step back. We're in the composition. Now we're back in our full scene. So I'm going to actually click inside my composition and click inside my head. And I'm going to label this face. So this is my face inside of my head. So let's step back to our scene. The next thing I'm going to grab is my main hair here. I'm going to unlock that layer. Click and drag over if you need to. Command click, convert to symbol. I'm going to call this hair. Make sure it's a graphic symbol, press OK. And now I'm going to click back into my head. Let me unlock that. Now, because they're both symbols, let's see, let me unlock them. Sorry. Now that they're both symbols, you can see I've got two blue boxes around these. So they work fine. Okay, so I'm going to go into my head and they won't select together unless I choose to. So they're not going to kind of join. So I'm going to select my head here, double click. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm going to step back out. Go to my scene. I'm going to click on my hair main. I'm going to say Command C or Edit, copy. I'm going to go inside my head one more time because that's inside my composition. I'm inside my head and I am going to add a new layer and call this hair mane. And I am going to Command Option V, and I'm going to place this. It wasn't pasting in place, so you can just edit, paste. And I'm going to make sure this is aligned where I need it to be. I moved my head a little bit, so I just want to make sure that's lining up. And we're going to step back to our scene. And now I could delete this layer, and you can see I still have my hair, but it's inside this composition. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to grab, I'm going to call this composition, because it's all going to be on one layer. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the back of my hair, unlock that, and I'm going to lock my composition so it doesn't select. So I just have the back of the hair. I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, or Command C. Then I'm going to lock it. I'm going to, oops, sorry, click, unlock this, click into my composition, click into my head, and I'm going to say, create another layer, say hair, back. And then remember, the back of the hair goes behind the face. And I'm going to paste. So edit, paste in place. Again, it's not really working. I'm going to go ahead and line up that hair so that we are there. So I've got my hair. I've obviously got a little bit of work to do in fixing that one as well. All right, let's step back into our scene. Now my hair, I can delete. All right, so we've got our hair strand left and our hair strand right. So let's go ahead and select that. Let me lock my composition. So I just have the one layer. So we're going to do hair strand left, make sure it's all selected. I'm going to copy, edit, copy, or that short key, Command C. Now I'm going to unlock my composition, double click inside my head, create a new layer, call this hair strand left, and I'm going to paste, Command V, and I'm going to just match that up. And let's see, I'm on top of the back of my hair. And actually, because, well, let's see, this would be kind of, if it swings, it would want to swing in front of my face. So I'm going to put it above my face. So just be thinking about, like, is this the side that's in front of the face? And so if the hair might swing in front of the face, you want it above the face. All right, go back to our scene. Now I can delete hair strand left. Now we're going to do hair strand right. Lock my composition, unlock my thing, click and drag over, Command, convert to symbol. Let's see, hair strand right. Make sure it's a graphic symbol, press OK. All right. Command C. Now we're going to unlock our composition. And we are going to step inside of our head, making sure. So we're double clicking twice. We're in our head. Create a new layer. Hair. Right. And I'm going to paste that. Put it in place. And this one I want behind my face because the face is kind of in front of it, so that if it does swing, it's swinging in front of the back of my hair, but kind of not ever in front of my face. So getting that order right. This is kind of the front, this is the next, and this is behind the head, the face. Okay, so we have everything in order. So now inside of my head composition, if I were to move this around, all these things move together. Obviously, it wouldn't move like that, but they all move together right now. So let's keep moving. All right, let's delete this. So now this is all within my composition. My next piece is the neck, and I am going to lock this just so I don't select it. Unlock my neck, click and drag over, Command, convert to symbol, Command click, neck. All right, I'm gonna make sure I'm on selection. I'm gonna Command X. Oops, sorry, Command C, apologize. I'm gonna go back to my composition, double click, and right here is my head. And we're actually not going to double click because no longer do we want the neck to be attached to our head necessarily. We want it to be in a side of our composition. So we're going to go neck, and that goes below the head, I believe. Place that back in place. Sorry about that. I think let's actually go back. Let's do the neck inside of the head layer as well. So I'm just going to step back. So let's go inside the head composition. We'll do the neck. And make sure, oops, I create a new layer. Delete that. Call this neck. And we want it in front of the back of the hair. Depending on how your character's built, the neck can either go with inside or outside of that nest. Okay. So we've got all of the head components together. Okay, now we're going to move on, and I'm going to delete the neck. And now I'm going to work with the torso. We've only got 2 more layers to connect. So I'm going to lock this, unlock my torso, and I'm just going to work with the sweater first. Convert to symbol, and I'm going to call this sweater. Actually, call it torso. Sweater. Okay. And I am going to lock this, unlock, select my composition, and right here we can add my torso because we're no longer working within the head layer. So I'm going to call this torso. And oops, got to copy it. Let me grab that torso and see. Step back in my composition and Command V. We want it underneath. Just lining that up. Okay. And then let's see. I'm just going to delete this. And our jacket we need to grab. I'm just going to lock the composition, grab our jacket. I'm going to convert to symbol. Remember, it's just convert to symbol. Torso. Jacket. Okay, graphic symbol. All right, I'm going to Command C. step back into that composition, unlock that, and then Command B. Oops, sorry. New layer first. Getting ahead of myself. Torso, jacket. Command B. Making sure I'm on that new layer. Line that up. And for our intents and purposes, I think what I'm going to do, since I've got two torsos here, is put this torso inside of this torso. So if I click on my torso jacket, and I'm actually just going to go to my library and grab my torso sweater, put this inside, oops, create a new layer for it. And I'm going to nest these within each other so that they are always operating together. Let me make sure that works. Yep, so the head is on front. So now I'm going to just delete this and call this just torso. So they're within each other. So anytime this moves left to right, these are nested within. So we can click and edit that. So I've got my torso working together. I have my head layer working together. This is my head layer. And they are separate entities so that I can move my torso forward or back, and I can affect my head a little bit differently when I'm animating. Okay, so now we are set up for our limbs. So make sure you've done all of that. And yours, let me delete that last one. And now all I have is my reference image, right? And I've got my character. And just take your time lining up. I have my composition. I just want to show you something here. So if I were to delete this, right? Oops, let me delete this layer. Now I can come in here, grab my composition. Oops. Let's step back. Should be able to. Yeah. Now I have my composition here, and you can see that because it's a symbol, I can delete that, and I will always have that character. Character is kind of a solid character now. That composition will now include legs, arms, limbs, our pelvis, and so I will have that character kind of set. I can call her a name, so this would be Ellie. Call her Ellie, and I've got my head and torso there inside my composition. And inside that, I've got all the things within my head. And this will help us to even step inside of, say, our face here, and then animate even further our facial features, right? So everything will kind of be dependent and parented by another layer. And then let me rename my composition Ellie. So I'm within my character here. So anytime I can just delete that. So this can be my main animation timeline. I'm just showing you for example. And I can bring Ellie on there and any other characters that I have for my animation. So I can make multiple characters of this one character. So I could say this is animated jump or whatever, right? I can also then have a bunch of timelines, so I can just animate the sweater, animate the head separately. So this is the organization I want you to stick with. Go ahead and get that done before moving on to the limbs. Thanks for joining.